Good morning, dear students. I am Miss NAVEDA SHAIKH from Brahan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika MCGM virtual class. I welcome all my dear students to another and interesting session. In today's session, we'll be learning something new and interesting from a science textbook. So let's get started. Good morning, dear students. I am Mrs. NAVEDA SHAIKH from MCGM virtual class. I welcome all my dear students to another and interesting session. In today's class, we'll be learning a very interesting chapter from a science textbook, and the chapter is elements, compounds and mixture. Now we all have studied about what is the basic component, and based on that we have got a basic information about what are elements, what is a matter. Okay, so I hope you all know that much, because that will help us to understand this chapter in a better way. Okay, and even if you do not remember it, don't worry, I'll be explaining you all everything in detail so that it becomes clear to you. First we will start with what is a matter. Anything around you, anything that you can see, touch or feel is matter. Everything around you is matter. Matter is anything that has mass, the amount of stuff in an object, and which takes up space. There are different states or phases of matter. Changes can occur between these states. We say that an object is made up of a certain substance. The term matter is also used as a synonym of substance. In scientific language, however, a single term is used for a single concept, and that which an object is made of is called matter. Anything that you see around you which requires space, जो एक particular space cover कर रहा है, उसको जो हम लोग उसके अंदर mass है, that is called as a matter. Earlier people used to call it as substances. Even now also we call things as substance, this substance or that substance. But scientifically we have a single word allotted for a single term. ठीक है, for a single concept. So it was said that we will not call it as a substance, it will be called as a matter. So anything that you see around you is made up of matter. The particulate nature of matter and properties of matter. Let us understand about the nature of matter and the properties of it. As I told you that matter occur in various states. ठीक है? It is solid, liquid and gas. It is the matter which is present in various things in solid, liquid or gaseous states that is responsible for their properties. Even though they are divided into small particles, their properties due to the matter present in them remain the same. The properties such as the white color of a chalk, the blue color of the ink, the fragrance of the perfume are the properties of the matter of which each of them is made of. Okay, so if I'm talking about any particular, as I told you that the matter exists in three states: solid, liquid and gaseous state, and each one has their own property. Any substance, any matter, if you pick up, whether it is a piece of chalk which is a solid, if you take blue color ink which is liquid, or the fragrance of a perfume that is in the form of a gaseous state, but each and every matter has its own property. Understood? Objects have mass, and mass can be measured with the help of devices like the common balance. Here, whenever you see things around you, if you can weigh them, that means it is made up of matter. Also, they occupy space. So even if you see that, if you say that the air that is there, you cannot see it, but it requires space, it is occupying space. Suppose if you have a balloon and if you blow into the balloon, so what are you blowing inside? You're blowing inside air. Air is what? Gas. You cannot see it, but it is still occupying space, right? So anything that has mass can occupy space. They acquire both these properties from the matter that they are made of. In other words, mass and volume are two important properties of matter. ठीक है. सो मैटर जो भी है हमारे आसपास में, दे हैव वेरियस थिंग्स इन देम, जिसके बेसिस पे हम लोग उसे डिफ्रेंशिएट करते हैं. लाइक इफ अ सॉलिड इज कंसिडर्ड, you can easily measure the solid substances with the help of the weighing scale. You know that it is occupying space. All right, there are certain items that you cannot see, so but still, as I have given you the example of the balloon, when you blow into the balloon, it is, you can see the gas occupying space. Okay, so here both the properties are different of the solid also and from the gas also. Properties are different. Base, it will be based on the substance with which it is made of. अगर वो चौक है तो उसके अंदर चौक की जो सॉलिड की प्रॉपर्टीज़ है चौक की है, वो सारे पूरे चौक के अंदर वो प्रॉपर्टीज़ यू विल फाइंड. ओके, वेर एज द गैस और द परफ्यूम, उसकी प्रॉपर्टीज़ इट इज़ वेरी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द प्रॉपर्टीज़ ऑफ द चौक. Understood? So this is what we are trying to say. But you have to remember that whenever we talk about matter, mass and volume are very important. कि कितनी स्पेस लग रही है उसे और उसके अंदर कितनी वॉल्यूम है. Now let us take a few examples of substances. Many kinds of matter found in nature are in pure form. Things around you, there are many things which occur in pure form. मतलब वो जैसे हम लोग उसे वैसे इस्तेमाल करते हैं. That is, they contain only one constituent. In scientific language, matter made up of only one constituent is called substance. Now, things around you occur in so many different states. Like as I told you, anything that you touch, feel is a matter, right? जैसे कि car है, but in a car there are many things which are put together. Same way, if you talk about salt, salt is also a matter, but it is made up of a single substance. ठीक है, एक ही चीज़ से बना हुआ है, उसके अंदर और बहुत सारी चीज़ें इनकॉर्पोरेट नहीं करी गई है, तो इट इज़ अ प्योर सब्सटेंस. इट इज़ अ सब्सटेंस. ओके, फॉर एग्जाम्पल गोल्ड, डायमंड, वाटर, chalk, these all constituents of a single, one constituent, not single, one constituent is called substances. Other kind of matter are made up of two or more substances. They are called mixtures. If I combine two things together, salt and sugar, so salt is a different substance and sugar is a different substance. They both have different properties. When you combine together, you will have a mixture. Understood the difference between substance and mixture? Now let us understand about what is a mixture. A mixture is the physical combination of two or more substances. It is important to understand that a mixture is not chemically combined. Here I have given you all a few examples. Here if you have a pack of gems or M&Ms, in that there are many gems of various colors mixed together. ठीक है, orange, green, red, yellow. Okay, you can actually separate them and understand that what is a mixture. When all these things, different colored gems come together, it forms a mixture. Same way, if you're talking about food that you have in the house, like if you're making a pizza, in pizza you have so many things which is coming together. You have the bread, then you have cheese, you have vegetables on it, right? You have some chili flakes. So there are so many things which are used. More than two things are used, right? So that forms a mixture. Even if I talk about juice that we make in the house, nimbu pani or lemonade, in that we add lemon, sugar, salt, okay, and water, so that it becomes nice lemonade. So that is also a mixture. So a mixture is the physical combination जो हम लोग हमारे हिसाब से combination करते हैं two or more substances का, that is called as a mixture. It is important to understand that a mixture is not chemically combined. So mixture के अंदर basically हम लोग सब चीज़ अंदाजे से थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे हो सकता है. Okay, we do not have exact amount of cheese that we put in the pizza. We know कि हाँ this much will be enough. We just keep on mixing things together. That is a mixture. अगर हम लोग एकदम exactly कोई चीज़ को mix करते हैं ना chemically, ठीक है, that is a different thing. Okay, so for now I hope the concept of mixture is clear to all of you. Let us talk about elements. The first topic of the heading that we have in this chapter. the topic was elements, compounds and mixture, right? So elements, let's talk about elements. Now the water droplets collected on the inside of the lid of the teapot are formed by condensation of the vapor from the boiling water. When we are boiling tea or anything that you cook, if you put a lid over it, you will find that when you lift the lid, there are water droplets being formed, as you can see in the picture. The water in the form of vapor is composed of extremely tiny particles and therefore we cannot see them. जब ये वेपर्स ऊपर उठते हैं ना तो उसके अंदर वेपर्स के अंदर वाटर ड्रॉपलेट्स होती है, बट दे आर इन अ वेरी टाइनी फॉर्म, सो यू कैन नॉट सी इट. वो वाटर के जो ड्रॉप्स हैं, पार्टिकल्स है, दे आर सो टाइनी यू कैन नॉट सी इट, बट देयर इज water present in the vapor. You will see that the spray is also composed of small particles of water. Similarly, all substances are made up of extremely tiny particles. The smallest particle of substances are molecules. A substance whose molecules are made up of one or more atoms which are exactly alike is called an element. Okay, so we started from the matter. Matter से हम लोगों ने क्या पढ़े? Pure substances जिसके अंदर only one constituent is there. Mixture के अंदर physically if you are mixing two constituents together it forms a mixture. Then after the pure substance, for pure substances are further made up of tiny particles. Okay, and those smallest particle of substances are called as molecules. A substance whose molecules, here you can see H2O molecule of water. A substance whose molecules are made up of one or more atoms which are exactly alike is called an element. We have learned that the smallest particle is the atom. Okay, if you keep on breaking, if I take a piece of chalk and if I keep on breaking it, it will reach to a point जो हम लोगों को दिखाई नहीं देगा. You cannot see it through the naked eye. ठीक है, उससे further divide करोगे तो it will, अगर हम लोग उसे divide करते जाएंगे तो you can actually see all these things under electron microscope, not really with your naked eyes or your normal microscope. Okay, so atoms can be seen because atom is the smallest particle of anything, any matter that is there. Now, a substance whose molecules are made up of one or more atoms. अगर ऐसे ही same molecule है, ऑक्सीजन का 2 है या हाइड्रोजन का 2 है, एक ऑक्सीजन का है, it will form an element. Understood? So element समझ में आ गया, made up of one type of atom which will form a element. Like hydrogen, oxygen, these are all elements. Hydrogen अलग एक element है, oxygen अलग एक element है. Understood? Elements and compounds both are made up of atoms. Now here this is the structure of the atom. We do not get different substances from by the decomposition of an element. The smallest particles of elements are made of only one type of atoms. We cannot see atoms with the naked eye, but when core of atoms come together, their total volume is large enough to be visible to our eyes. The mass and volume of atoms of different elements are different. So here this is a picture of an atom. ठीक है, inside of an atom you cannot see it through your naked eyes, but this is the image of the atom. कि atom के अंदर जो अलग अलग चीज़ें होती है, you will be learning about that in your coming year in your 8th standard, about entirely based on the atom. कि atom के अंदर क्या क्या है. Okay, so every element that we're talking about is made up of atoms. Okay, so these are the smallest particles. Atoms are the smallest particle of elements. We cannot see them with the naked eyes, but but when crores of atoms, बहुत सारे crores of atoms, when they come together, then their total volume is large enough to see through the naked eyes. Otherwise you cannot see the atom with your naked eyes. The mass and volume of atoms of different elements are different. Okay, now for example, as I told you, we'll take very simple examples of hydrogen and oxygen. हाइड्रोजन का जो मास है और वॉल्यूम है, इट विल बी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम ऑक्सीजन. ऑक्सीजन एक अलग एलिमेंट है, हाइड्रोजन एक अलग एलिमेंट है, ठीक है, कार्बन एक अलग एलिमेंट है. we'll talk about them in detail in the coming slides. Okay, Now, what is an element? I hope by now element is clear. An element is a pure substance in which all atoms have the same number of protons. To date, scientists have discovered 118 elements. Of these, 92 elements occur in nature, मतलब naturally occurring थे, while the remaining are man-made. Hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, iron, mercury, copper are a few of the important natural elements. More new elements are being discovered through research work. Understood? So this is a periodic table. ओके एक टेबल है, ये टेबल के अंदर एलिमेंट्स को अरेंज किया गया है. दिस इज जस्ट फॉर योर बेसिक नॉलेज. ओके, यू आर नॉट लर्निंग इट नाउ, यू विल बी लर्निंग इट in your coming years, not even in 8th. So these are various types of elements. Out of these elements, these are total 118 elements which have been discovered up till now. इसमें से 92 were naturally occurring, and then later on man-made ones were also added into it. Hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, iron, mercury, these are few important natural elements that we tend to use more in our textbook, okay, because they are used in our day-to-day life. Like oxygen and hydrogen, they combine together, they give you water. Nitrogen gas is important for plants. Carbon, we are using it every day in the form of pencil के अंदर जो निब आप लोग की जो नोक है, that is made up of carbon. Then डायमंड्स है, दे कम फ्रॉम कार्बन. आयन, हमारे जो स्कूल्स के गेट्स बने होते हैं वो आयन के बने होते हैं. मर्क्यूरी, दैट इज़ यूज इन द थर्मोमीटर, दैट इज़ ऑल्सो एन एलिमेंट. ओके, कॉपर के आइटम्स हमारे घरों में होते हैं. सो दीज आर नेचुरल एलिमेंट्स विच आर easily used in our day-to-day life, and more new elements are being discovered through research work. Oxygen occurs in nature in the gaseous state. Two atoms of oxygen are joined to form a molecule of oxygen which has an independent existence. We all have learned that air is a mixture of various types of gases, right? We know that oxygen is very important, and oxygen is one of the components of the air, and which is required for us for our survival, right? This oxygen is a There are oxygen atoms which are present in the air. They exist independently, means they do not need any other element to support them. Okay, they are on their own, and they can exist as they are. Oxygen in air is always in molecular state. Just like atoms, molecules also cannot be seen with naked eyes. Okay, so if you see around, you cannot see anything. हम लोगों को air दिखाई नहीं देती है ना. You cannot see air, you cannot see oxygen, you cannot see carbon dioxide. Now this oxygen which I'm talking about right now, it is in the gaseous state. Naturally, it is in the gaseous state. Okay, it is in the form of a molecules. Like the atoms, how you cannot see the atoms, same way you cannot see the molecules also. Okay, so molecules are also very minute, and oxygen is always in molecular state. Okay, you will find two atoms of oxygen together, and that oxygen we are using for inhalation, for our respiratory process. Now, what do the short forms of DR, HM, AC, ADV, CM, DC stand for? Now, we have learned that in our school, when you go to the doctor, okay, you do not see entire doctor written on the board. You always find that capital D and small r is used. Now that shows that is the short form of doctor that we use. Okay, so DR stands for doctor. This DR, it stands for doctor. Okay, same way this HM could be used as the abbreviation of headmaster. Okay. This AC could be the air conditioner that you use or alternate current. Okay, air conditioner. It could be air conditioner हम लोग जो हमारे घरों में लगे हुए होते हैं, or in the offices you must have seen, or in the restaurants. Air condition, it could be air condition, it could be alternate current. ADV stands for advocate. Okay, so that way there are certain words CM stands for Chief Minister, DC stands for direct current. Okay, so there are certain words you do not need to make use of the entire spelling. Instead of using the entire word, we make use of the short alphabets which denote that word. Okay, now those alphabets that we are using हम लोग हमेशा नहीं use कर सकते, ठीक है. There are specific names that you can come up with, like doctor के लिए DR use होता है. It is known commonly to everybody. Okay, HM means headmaster. Okay, so that way there are certain common short forms for certain words. In day-to-day life, we use short forms in many places. Nowadays, when you all text each other, you all use so many short forms, right? So that way we make use of various shortcuts, and same way even to indicate elements, alright, to indicate elements that we have studied, we make use of short alphabets. The scientist Berzelius was the first to use the present method of using symbols for elements. So instead of making use of alphabets, he made use of symbols. The symbols of an element is written in the English script and is the short form of its name. Earlier, Berzelius used method of denoting the elements with the symbols, but those symbols were used at that particular period. But after that, English script was used so that these elements could be written in the English script and everybody could understand them, and that is the short form of its name. Some elements and their symbols are listed here in the table alongside. When the initial letter is the name of two or more elements is the same. Suppose there are certain names. ऐसा ज़रूरी नहीं है कि if a name starts with H, the symbol will be H. There will be many elements जिसके starting के alphabet same होंगे. If it would be H, like hydrogen and helium. Here you can see in the table itself, hydrogen is also starting with H and helium is starts with H. But you cannot use the same alphabet, same symbol for two things. So there are certain differences. Okay, so हाइड्रोजन के लिए H यूज़ हुआ है, हीलियम के लिए HE यूज़ हुआ है. सपोज अगर और कोई आता है तो उसके लिए कुछ और यूज़ होगा, ज़रूरी नहीं है. इफ़ यू सी सोडियम, ठीक है, नेक्स्ट टू हाइड्रोजन इफ़ यू सी सोडियम, सोडियम के लिए विच अल्फ़ाबेट विच सिंबल इज़ यूज्ड, Na इज़ यूज्ड. ओके, अब ये जो Na है, इट इज़ नोवेयर इन सोडियम. Na इज़ नॉट देयर, नो, बट येट सोडियम के लिए हम लोग Na सिंबल यूज़ करते हैं. When the initial letter in the names of two or more element is the same, a pair of letter is used to write the symbol. For example, we write C for carbon and Cl for chlorine. Okay, तो हम लोग ने हाइड्रोजन के लिए भी what did we do is, when we had hydrogen and helium, तो H एक के लिए यूज़ किया गया, एक के लिए H यूज़ किया गया. If you see carbon, कार्बन के लिए there is carbon also starts with C and chlorine also starts with C, calcium also starts with C. So we cannot use C for all the three things. So C, कार्बन के लिए C यूज़ किया जा रहा है एज अ सिंबल, फॉर क्लोरीन Cl यूज़ किया जा रहा है, एंड फॉर कैल्शियम Ca यूज़ किया गया है. ओके, सो द सिम्बल्स आर डिफरेंट for different elements. All the elements have their own symbol. Understood? So you need to know few of the elements and their symbols. Now the list of the elements and symbol mentioned on the screen are important because we make use of these elements every now and then, okay, throughout the year also and in the next coming years as well. for various reactions, for various elements and their combination, किस तरीके से react करते हैं. These are a few elements that we use again and again. Okay, so you should know at least some of the elements and their symbols. Like here on the screen you have hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium. There are metals are difficult to use in pure form. For example, pure iron rusts in air. Pure gold is very soft and bends easily. The properties of the original metal can be modified by mixing one or more element in it. Now here if you see gold, whenever you go to purchase gold, if your parents are going to purchase gold, या फिर अगर आपके घर में किसी के पास gold है, and if you turn around that ornament and if you see, look at it, you will find that उसके पीछे कोई number लिखा है, 22 carat or KDM. Alright, so that is showing you the quality of the gold, कि इसके अंदर कितना कैरेट गोल्ड है. Because this gold that you see here is a soft metal. It is a metal. We have learned about metals. These metals are very soft. Okay, and if you use it, ऐसा नहीं है कि हाथ लगाएंगे तो दबेगा, but you cannot use it very easily. If you wear it, it might bend. ठीक है, easily bend हो जाते हैं ये सारी चीज़ें गोल्ड से बनी हुई, प्योर गोल्ड से. So there are certain metals which are added to it ताकि वो थोड़ा strong बन सके, ताकि वो easily bend ना हो. Okay, the properties of the original metals can be modified by mixing one or more element in it. Such a mixture of metal is called an alloy. Here, first thing that we learned was metals are normally, some metals are soft in the pure form and some metals अगर pure form में है तो they can hold rust, उसके अंदर rust पकड़ सकती है. Pure iron if you see here, तो अगर उसे हम लोग बाहर रखेंगे air and water, if it comes in contact with it, it will form rust, and that again is damaging that thing which is made up of iron. So instead of using such items, what people have done over the time is they made mixtures of these metals. ठीक है, दो metals को combine करके एक नया product बनाया जो काफ़ी durable है, that is more durable and you can use it for a longer period of time and it doesn't have corrosion, like ऐसे ये rust नहीं पकड़ेगा या फिर bend नहीं होगा, that way. So brass is one of the alloy that we are using, that has 30% of zinc and 70% of copper. Same way we use steel so much in our house also. Plates हमारे घर में स्टील की होती है, वाटी स्टील की होती है, स्पून स्टील के होते हैं, बोल स्टील के होते हैं, डेगची कभी कभार हम लोग जो यूज़ करते हैं, दैट इज ऑल्सो मेड अप ऑफ स्टील. नाउ व्हाई डू वी यूज स्टील सो मच? बिकॉज स्टील is doesn't get rusted easily. ठीक है, it doesn't react with certain food. Now there are certain metals which react, जो अगर उसके ऊपर एसिडिक खाना डाला जाएगा, सपोज अगर उस पर नींबू या फिर इफ टैमरिंड इज एडेड, उसका कलर चेंज हो जाता है. ओके, उसकी जो हम लोग खाते हैं, इट माइट टर्न इनटू something poisonous also. So instead of using those type of pure metals, it is combined. Iron and carbon are combined together to make steel, which is very durable. उसे हम लोग कितने भी साल यूज़ करेंगे, it doesn't get spoiled, टूटता नहीं है, it doesn't break easily and it doesn't hold. जैसे कि आयन है, आयन के अंदर रस्ट बहुत जल्दी पकड़ता है, बट स्टील की प्लेट्स अगर हम लोग बहुत टाइम तक यूज़ कर रहे हैं, it doesn't get rusted. ठीक है, रस्ट नहीं पकड़ रहा, उस पर जंग नहीं लगता. So these are all brass and steel. I've taken two examples for you all to understand कि these are two alloys. Alloys means ये दो metal से बना हुआ है, ठीक है, and it forms a new product. Understood? So why these alloys are made? Is this clear to all of you? The wire that we see in the electric bulb in your house is made up of the element tungsten. ठीक है, if you look at the bulb carefully, if you haven't seen, अगर नहीं देखे हो तो कोई बात नहीं, you can go today and see, look at the bulb. The bulb which is transparent, वो उसके अंदर से you all can easily see के एक V shape structure होता है और उसके ऊपर एक वायर होती है. Now that wire that you see is made up of an element. Okay, that element is tungsten. Its symbol is W and which is derived from its German name Wolfram. Similarly, the symbol of silver and gold, silver is Ag and gold is Au, are derived from their Latin names, argentium and aurum respectively. Argentium is for silver and aurum was for gold. Elements occur in solid, liquid or gaseous state. So here you can see elements can either be solid, either they can be liquid or in their gaseous state. So it is not necessary कि हर element ऐसा ही होगा. It could be like your hydrogen is a gas, okay, oxygen is a gas, nitrogen is a gas. But if you see mercury, mercury is liquid, okay, it is also an element. Next, helium is also in the form of gas. Then carbon, carbon is in the solid form. Understood? So there are certain elements which are solid, some are liquid and some are gaseous. Understood everybody? And why if you think कि हम लोग बोल रहे थे ना कि C अगर नाम है सबका तो सबका C से स्टार्ट होता है, तो उसके लिए कुछ अलग अल्फ़ाबेट्स भी यूज़ किए, लाइक सोडियम है ना, सिल्वर एंड गोल्ड का एग्जांपल दिया गया है. सिल्वर स्टार्ट्स विथ S, बट उसके लिए क्या यूज़ किया गया, Ag. वाई Ag? बिकॉज उसका जो लैटिन नेम था सिल्वर के लिए S है, सल्फ़र भी S से, सल्फ़र इज़ ऑल्सो स्टार्टिंग विथ S, तो सेम चीज़ नहीं यूज़ कर सकते थे, तो उसके लैटिन नेम्स के हिसाब से भी उनके एलिमेंट्स के सिंबल्स डिराइव किए गए हैं. ओके, सो Ag argentium एंड Au इज aurum. Now let us understand about metals and non-metals. We have learnt about elements are present around us. Okay, they could be metals, they could be non-metals. Metals are easily you all can differentiate between metals and non-metals. Metals का एक example लेंगे हम लोग iron या फिर gold ले लेते हैं. ठीक है, gold, everybody has seen gold, so we'll take gold and understand that. Gold is very, you can see there is shine in it. Gold shine करता है, it is lustrous. If you talk about non-metal, we'll take an example of wood. ठीक है, लकड़ी का एक piece. Wood doesn't shine. लकड़ी shine करती है नहीं, so it is dull. Metals are good conductor of electricity and heat also. If you use gold and if you place it, do not do that, but metal का हम लोग एक और एक example लेते हैं. If you are using the utensils that are there in our house, okay, they are made up of metals. If you touch it, you feel hot. सेम वे जो वायर्स होते हैं, कॉपर होता है, कॉपर इट इज़ ऑल्सो एन मेटल. जो हमारे हाउसेज में जो वायरिंग होती है, इट हैज़ मेटल इन इट कॉल्ड कॉपर. नाउ दैट कॉपर वायर कैन कंडक्ट इलेक्ट्रिसिटी वेरी इजीली. ओके, वेराज अगर लकड़ी है तो लकड़ी के थ्रू इलेक्ट्रिसिटी विल नॉट पास. Okay, not all non-metals cannot conduct electricity, but most of the non-metals do not conduct electricity or heat. It is having high melting point, means they have to, if you boil it, it doesn't boil very easily at low temperature. It requires very high temperature. It has high density. You can make it into sheets. ठीक है, you can draw it into wires. Ductile है, malleable है. They are solid at room temperature mostly, and they are opaque as thin sheet, and sonorous means if you bang it you can hear sound in it. Whereas when you talk about non-metals, they can break easily. अगर हम लोग उसे लकड़ी से तोड़ेंगे तो बहुत आसानी से टूट जाता है. It may be solid, liquid, gaseous at room temperature. It is transparent as a thin sheet. अगर हम लोग उसे thin sheet में देखेंगे तो it is transparent like that of plastic. It is not sonorous. Means अगर हम लोग bang करेंगे ना तो उसमें से ऐसे sound नहीं आती है जैसे metals के अंदर create होती है. Okay? So elements are generally classified into two groups, metals and non-metals. We have studied the properties of metals such as malleability. Means अगर हम लोग उसे hammer से मारेंगे तो it will form a sheet. उसको बोलते हैं malleability. Ductility means it can form into a wire. Conductivity means whether you can conduct heat or electricity through it. वो पास कर सकता है या नहीं. Density means how dense, कितना mass है उसके अंदर. ठीक है. Luster means whether it is shining. Lustrous means shine है नहीं है. And sonority means can you hear sound through it. The elements that do not show these properties are called non-metals. Okay, so I have explained you both the things, metals also properties and non-metals की simple properties. For example, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine. These are non-metals. The elements that show some properties of metals and some properties of non-metals are called metalloids. Okay? Now the periodic table that I had shown you, in that periodic table I had explained you all that there are so many different types of elements. Now those elements could be metals, metalloids or non-metals. Metalloids are elements which have some properties of metals and some properties of non-metals, both. So that is why they are named as metalloids. This is the third group of elements. Arsenic, silicon, selenium are examples of metalloids. So remember students, you should know the properties of metals, what are metals, some examples of it. Whereas same thing for non-metals also. Okay, non-metals के अंदर properties क्या है and few examples of non-metals, what are metalloids and few examples of metalloids. Okay, these three things all should know. Here you can see the pictures of metalloids: silicon, antimony, germanium and boron. If you like the session, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel so that you can share and view the videos that we had today for you. And please do not forget to hit the bell icon so that you remain updated with all the latest videos that we'll be making for our dear students. This session was quite useful to you. In the next coming period, we'll learn something new and interesting. Till then, thank you.